There's a series of puzzles in Star Wars Jedi Survivor that will give you the best upgrades in the entire game, lots of perks, perk slots, as well as probably the most rare lightsaber. These unlocks will literally let you find all the remaining collectibles, including treasures and other stats, so in this video I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do for all of them. Starting things off, to even get access to these, you first need to progress pretty far into the main story, maybe even consider finishing it, as you will need a few key upgrades, including the air dash to pass through these green force fields and upgraded ascension cable to reach some of the higher up places. The first one is going to be a map upgrade that will now make the unfound chests, Steam upgrades, as well as upgrades for BD1 to be shown on your holo map. To get this, you need to interact with a special terminal at the end of a side mission called Explore the Funky Caverns. You can start this one by talking to this NPC that spawns in Rambler's Reach onto the side of Doma Dendra's shop. To get in the caverns, you will need to start from the mountain ascent waypoint on this side of the map and then just backtrack into the lower valley until you reach this platform by the pool of water. From this point, take the filter down to the lower area right here to the side, the one with the small house in the middle. Here you will want to make your way down the basement using the entrance you have open to the side of it. Once inside, pass through the gap and go to the end of this tunnel with exploding traps. And if you progress enough in the story, now you can also open up the lid, which is going to let you drop in the caverns below. From this point on, you can simply follow the main tunnels as the path is pretty straightforward, but you will encounter a lot of boss enemies inside, including a legendary one, so just be on your toes. Specifically, you will also encounter these 3 lightsaber-wielding raiders that are locked behind some doors, so you will need to actually blow those open using the explosive plants you find growing around the cave area. They are more difficult than normal enemies, but manageable at this point. However, keep an eye out for some of the side rooms too, or underwater areas, as this cave contains several chests that provide parts of the Duelist lightsaber skin. In my opinion, one of the coolest looking lightsabers in the entire game. Towards the end of it, there's also another terminal you can interact with, which lets you take control of Magna Guards, so that's also quite useful since they tend to be a lot stronger than some of the other enemies. Now, once you reach at the end of the mission, in this very room right here, you will notice that the terminal is in the middle and you will want to interact with it to give BD1 the holomap upgrade to now see all the unfound chests and other upgrades on the map. This, by the way, works on all planets, not just on Kobo, so it's a very useful method to pretty much see all the loot you've been missing out on. And there's gonna be a lot of it, trust me, especially cosmetics, but also the Steam upgrades. You're gonna want to get them, especially if you want to further customize Cal and make him look even cooler. However, it doesn't stop here, and there's an even better one on Jeddah. Going into the large middle section of the map right here, you will spot this rock formation called the Wayfinder's Tomb. When you reach this place, you will notice a platform in the middle with 3 columns on the side, but if you look through them, you will notice 3 spires in the distance that correspond to ruins you need to solve. Doing so will give you a map upgrade to now see all the unfound treasures, unlock perk slots, and also get an awesome named lightsaber skin belonging to an important character. So from here, you will want to actually head to each of these ruins one by one and complete the puzzles by pushing these orbs through the guided paths that you will have to open up by just solving them in the first place. So each ruin has its own way of completing it, but otherwise are pretty straightforward. So here's how I use them in this case. Make the orbs to shift the rocks and open up the gap so that eventually I can make them reach the upper sections. Once at the top, we will just need to do one final push, which completes the ruins, collapses its spires, and reveals a perk slot to the side that you can get right away. In total, that's going to be 3 extra perk slots just by completing these, so totally go ahead and do so. But as you complete these and collapse the spires at the ruins, corresponding ones will be raised at the tomb, as well as the orbs being transferred to them. So once that is done, head over back and you will know it's all done if all the 3 areas will have the orbs now transferred to the Wayfinder's Tomb. From this point on, all that remains is to take the platform in the center and then reach the lower section below it to get our rewards. The first one, of course, is the terminal, which gives us the map upgrade that now shows all the unfound relics on all maps, such as the priorite shards, Jedi scrolls, as well as the data discs. Going a bit further, there's an additional treasure which also gives access to the Cordova lightsaber. This is how it looks like, by the way, also trying to match it with the one that Cordova uses, though I'm pretty sure that I'm missing a cooler and better color for the grip, but otherwise looks pretty close and it's one of the best looking skins in my opinion in the whole game. And this brings us to the last one, also back on Kobo, probably the longest of the puzzles, but totally worth it as now this unlocks the remaining map upgrade to see all the health and force essences on top of getting a lot of really awesome perks. So you will need to head over to this giant tower you will see right across of the main town called the Alignment Control Center. You actually visit this at some point in the main story, and taking the elevator below, you will come across this control panel with 7 terminals right across the meditation point. Each of these terminals actually corresponds to a Jedi temple on Kobo, so as you complete more of them, you will spot more of these terminals turning from the red to the green color. That's because there are 7 Jedi temples on Kobo, with 3 of them in the big main area around Rambler's Reach and 4 remaining ones in the adjacent regions. So the first one is basically unmissable as it comes from the main story. The second one is found in the Untamed Downs just across of Rambler's Reach, and you will need the Neko to grab onto some of these vines and reach the upper platforms. The third one is also close at the water treatment works around the Southern Reach. For this, you will have to actually climb up this large round building or structure with the openable lid at the top. You will of course have to use these jumping walls onto the side until you make your way up. Once you open the lid, drop below all the way to the lower level, and here is where you will encounter the entrance to the temple. The fourth one is in the jungle area called the Basalt Rift, though this one comes through an earlier main mission. Close to this facility with the meditation point, you will spot the entrance to the temple right across this larger gap, so you can simply just use the rope and swing across to enter it. Fifth one is in the swamp area, really close to the meditation point with the intersectable zip lines in front of it. So here you will want to actually take the first zip line and then make your way towards the middle. Once you reach that point, jump directly onto the second zip line and make your way towards the next area. Here you will have to use your ascension cable to reach the higher up road with the temple at the end of it. The sixth one is at the mountain ascent. From the same waypoint, you'll want to take it to the right side past this green force field. Once onto the other side, there's going to be a bridge below you that lets you reach the lower section. From this point on, you will want to make your way to this waterfall, as behind of it you're going to find the entrance to the temple. And the seventh and final one is the most annoying because it's the only one that doesn't get a marker on the map, but it's the quickest as you will just need to find it in the devastated settlement in the Stone Spires region. This is, by the way, the same one that you have to direct these 3 beams later on in the main story. So you will want to actually take the felter and glide down the platform in the middle where the second beam is located. From this point on, you will want to aim it at the small cave to the side of the big rock with the golden cube on top of it, right exactly where I'm pointing it. Once there, again, take the felter and glide onto that small entrance, not at the top of it, so be careful about that. It might take a bit of practice, but once you're down, you can quickly use the Kobo grinder to just destroy the vines inside and immediately finish the last temple. Once all of this is done, we can go back at the Alignment Control Center where all the terminals are now green and BD can access the final map upgrade. This is now going to reveal all the essences for HP and extra force powers that you've missed, so you can just see them with the plus sign on the map and basically just further max out Cal before attempting the New Game Plus mode. There is one extra map upgrade, however, which is going to let you see all the flowers on the map, but you will need to unlock and recruit Pili Wald, which is going to be this NPC that you find on Jeddah in a region called Blustery Mesa. So yeah, be careful with that. There's also a chapter that brings you here, which makes it a lot easier. So when you reach this area, if you talk to them, they will just be recruited back at Rambler's Reach. And you will basically have to find around 10 flowers or plants available in the game and then plant them back on the rooftops. As you plant these, more plots will unlock on the rooftops all the way until it gives you a final terminal that you can slice and also get the flower map upgrade for BD. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.